Art is everywhere. I see it in everything around me. In the half-naked trees whose leaves fall in preparation for the cold. In the buildings that are older than a time even my great-grandparents don't remember. In the ever-changing sky who's decorated with colours and light and clouds and night. In the people who smile at the sight of their morning coffee, their eyes so bright. I see a beauty in everything around me, so individual and divine it makes me fall in love with life. Art is everywhere, and everyone is art. The way we express who we are and what we want, the way we change our hair and act so nonchalant, the clothes we wear and the ink we use, we all have our own flair, our own charm, our own muse. Beauty is everywhere. We are all art. So as of right now, I have 7 tattoos. The first time I got tattooed was in November 2016 and I got 2 in one sitting. The first one being the quote on my ribs which says, "It's in your hands," which is in my mum's handwriting. The meaning of that one is pretty self-explanatory. Basically, throughout my whole childhood growing up, my mum would always say to me, "It's in your hands." As in to say, whatever you want, you can achieve if you work for it. Nothing will be handed to you, but if you have faith and courage in yourself and you work hard for what you want, you can have anything. And I guess that just resonated with me. And the second tattoo I got in that sitting was the word shine on my ankle. There are multiple meanings behind this one. The first being the very cheesy take on don't let anyone dull your shine. Basically, have enough courage in yourself to be whoever you want and don't let anybody stop you from being who you want to be. Further to that, don't stop yourself from being who you want to be by comparing yourself to other people. The only person that you need to be accepted by is yourself. So basically just have the courage to get on with life and be who you want to be. Another thing that inspired this tattoo is the song Yellow by Coldplay. The first line of it being, "Look at the stars, look how they shine for you." That is one of my all-time favourite songs, and the reason that the first line speaks to me so much is I'm someone that likes to look at the stars or the moon or aeroplanes flying by, which I know sounds really weird. I think that looking at something so vast and beautiful really gives you perspective on life. I think that looking out at something that's so much bigger than you makes you realise that your problems are so small and a lot of the time irrelevant. And so this tattoo is kind of a reminder for me to understand that the things I'm worrying about at that time are probably not going to matter to me in a day's time or a week's time. And so it's just a reminder to me to have perspective and be grateful for what I have in that moment. So then the next time I got tattooed was I think around August 2017, where I got 3 tattoos in one sitting. So the third tattoo I ever got was the XO on the back of my right ankle. This one again has multiple meanings to me. The first being that for years now that I can remember, my dad has always said to me, hugs and kisses go together, and I already have a piece of my mum on me and I wanted my dad there too. So that's partly for him and for the things he said to me over the years, and also just a constant reminder of his support for me and his belief in me when I didn't believe in myself. But the other meaning of that tattoo is the circle, or the O, actually has a much deeper meaning for me. The summer of 2017 was the first time I had gone travelling without my family. So for about 5 weeks I went around Europe with my best friend and had the greatest time and learned so much. But the main thing that stuck with me was during that trip, as cheesy as it sounds, I found what I believe in. I suppose you could say I found God, but my version of it. I discovered what I look up to as a higher being, what I turn to in my time of need. So the circle for me represents my belief in a higher being and almost a what goes around comes around sort of thing. One of the main things I learned on that trip was whatever you put out there comes back to you. So treat people with kindness, because you don't know what's happening in their day, and you being nice to them could actually be the first nice thing that's happened that day. That's one of the reasons I love that tattoo so much, because something so small actually has such a deep and big meaning to me, and you wouldn't have really thought it from what it says. Going along with the travel theme, the next tattoo I got was on the side of my ribs, and it's a wave. And I know this is a tattoo that a lot of people have, but I love the simplicity of it and also the deeper meaning of it for me as well. You'll notice that there's a dot next to the wave, and that really ties into the meaning of the tattoo for me, because not only does the wave represent my amazing trip around Europe and something I wanted to commemorate, but it was also inspired by a quote that I read. It was along the lines of, when you throw a pebble into water, it creates a ripple effect. If you're kind to one person, you make their day, and then they're nicer to the next person, and it just carries on, and it's a ripple effect. Your one kind word or compliment or just smile could have actually created so much happiness in one day, and you don't even realize it. And I know that's also probably really cheesy. Most of my tattoos are really cheesy, but I like that reminder that it's not a lot of effort to be kind to somebody, but when you do that, you could be making 20 other people's days as well. And that means everything to me. That makes me so happy to think about. So my fifth tattoo, and the last one I got in that sitting, was the arrows on the back of my neck. And this tattoo is the simplest of all of the tattoos I have. It is the Viking symbol for create your own reality, which is rather self-explanatory. It goes along with a couple of the other tattoos that I have in terms of you're in control of your own life, so do what you will. Have the courage and belief in yourself that you can achieve whatever you want. It all starts within you. So then the most recent tattoos I got, and the last two in my list, I got in the same sitting in around March of 2018. The first one being the word wildfire on the back of my left arm. This one is one of my favourite tattoos of mine, and it is the hardest one for me to explain the meaning of, because there are a lot of negative connotations that come with the word wildfire. But for me, the word wildfire describes me and my personality with like so much accuracy. It's insane. I've always described myself and my mindset as chaos, and again, I know that that can sound really negative, but for me, I've always been moving and I'm always thinking, and I get distracted very easily. So if you have a conversation with me, we will go off on so many tangents you won't even remember the original conversation. So that's always how I've kind of described myself, as a bit chaotic. Because of that, I find that I want so many things for myself and for the world, and my ambition is so high, and that makes me really proud of myself. This tattoo kind of represents that and the fearlessness that I feel within myself. But on top of that, I think I read a quote somewhere or something, and it said, you can't be burnt by fire if you are the fire. And that is something that's always spoken to me. Just be the fire, have courage, don't let anybody stand in your way. Which again is a meaning of a lot of my tattoos. That's something that I need constant reminder about, because I don't always have faith in myself. In fact, I rarely have faith in myself, and so I think the deeper meaning behind most of my tattoos is that I really should have more faith in myself. I should believe in my ability to succeed. Also, another thing I really like about this tattoo is the placement of it is right next to the wave on my ribs. One thing that you may not know about me is I'm a Scorpio, so I'm a water sign, and water signs are compatible with fire signs. So I like that I have fire and water right next to each other on my body, because another meaning behind those two tattoos combined is that there's always a constant balance. Don't spend too much time working on one area of your life and neglecting another area of your life. Keep balance with who you spend time with and spending time with yourself. Yeah, basically that's it. And the last tattoo I have to talk about for now is the crescent moon on the inner side of my right arm. And again, this tattoo has many meanings to me. The first one being, I read something somewhere that said along the lines of, the moon is still the moon in all of its phases. That stuck with me because at the time I got this tattoo, I had been going through such a change. I'd been at uni for almost a year, and not all of it was a great time. I had some really low times in that year as well as high times, and it was such a period of change that I wanted this tattoo to commemorate that change, because it's there to remind me that when you feel at your lowest and you feel like you don't even know who you are anymore, you're just in a period of change and you'll always be you. Which probably doesn't make any sense, but for me that is just a subtle reminder that I'll always be myself, whoever that may be, whoever I want that person to be, and I should appreciate and love that for myself. The other meaning behind this tattoo is, depending on the way you look at it, it can either be the waning crescent moon or the waxing crescent moon, and each one of those, if you believe in this stuff, has a different meaning. So the waxing crescent moon is when your power is perfectly aligned with the universe. So momentum is building, you have ambition and the courage to pursue your goals. In other words, the waxing crescent is the happier side of the waning versus waxing. And then the waning crescent moon represents surrender. It symbolises that it's okay to feel empty sometimes, and sometimes you just need to rest and recuperate and let yourself feel the way you're feeling before you can pick yourself back up again. And so that's like the sad half of waning versus waxing. It ties in with what I was saying before about if you're feeling low, you just need to remember that you're still you and that things will pick up again. So again, that's one of my favourite tattoos because I really like that it depends on the way you look at it, and it has a double meaning there that means a lot to me and the changes I've been through in the past year. But then if a stranger was looking at it, they would just see a moon and they don't need to know that deeper meaning. So it's probably one of my most personal tattoos, although all of them are very personal to me. I'm someone that will only get a tattoo if it has a really deep meaning to me, because it's going to be on my body forever, and so I want it to mean something to me, and in years in the future I can look at that tattoo and remember what I was feeling at that time and what I learned from that time that I got the tattoo. However, I understand that a lot of people don't agree with tattoos, or some people like getting them just because they look nice. They don't have to have meanings to people. Of course, it's each to their own, and I understand that. But yeah, those are all of my tattoos. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please subscribe for more, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!